Hello and welcome to the show. I am here today on Assetto Corsa Rally, and I have to say I found this weirdly a difficult one to make a video on because, well, it is early access. It's kind of a bit like Wreckfest 2 in a lot of ways, in that this is early access and it is pretty early access, and what's here is great, but there isn't a huge amount here. What I'm going to do is we're going to jump into a rally. We're going to go for a rally weekend. I'm just going to let the game figure out a very basic rally. Now, I can change it. I can add more events, stages if I want. It's not a crazy amount to choose from. Now, I am going to do this on the hardcore mode, which I do find quite interesting. It's the way I would want to be playing a rally game. Now, I cannot, unless I am completely blind, seem to find a way to turn tyre and fuel wear on. I had a look through here, but none of this setting seemed to have a tyre and fuel wear on. Now, we'll get to some other bits and pieces in a minute before I get distracted. Cars. Let's select the car. I'm going to drive the Citroen because I actually quite like seeing this car in a game. This is the selection of vehicles that you have to start with. Now, okay, yes, it's not the biggest car list in the world, but this is early access. What is here is a good, interesting cross-section of rally cars. You've got some front-wheel drive vehicles. You've got, classic vehicles. You've got modern, let's say you've got all-wheel drive 90s. You've got a modern, okay, it's only a Rally 2 car, but a modern higher-end rally car. You've got a Group B car with the 037, because it's rear-wheel drive. You've got an interesting selection. There is a lot of different types of vehicles here to be getting on with, but I'm going to drive the Citroen because the Citroen is cool. So let's jump into a rally. Now, as I said, I can't seem to get tyre wear to work. So we are going to just bring, it doesn't really matter what set of tyre we bring, but it bodes well for the game in general, in terms of depth, when it comes to a actual sort of rally, when it comes to an actual career mode, if you will. So, things to talk about. First of all, the game looks great. There is no doubt about it. Yeah, it's a fantastic looking game, both in terms of the details on the car and the details on the scenery, even if there are, as I said, only a couple of stages to test from. Handling physics, we'll deal with that one first, because that one's always important. Now, I have played this game both on a wheel and on a controller. For the sake of this video, much easier for me to record, I'm on a controller. The good news is that it is pretty damn good on both. Now, it took me a while to get used to driving on a wheel. I have spent a lot more time playing rally games on controllers than I have on wheels. Either way, though, both work. It's a huge amount of fun on the wheel, as you would expect it to be, and it feels great to drive on. When I plugged in the controller, actually works very, very well also. Now, I haven't had to spend hours fiddling about with controller setups and finding the perfect one online or anything like that. I literally plugged the controller in, and from the box, from the get-go, it worked really quite well. Now, I know it might not suit absolutely everybody and all of that kind of thing, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are probably going to be wanting to play the sort of controller, and everyone who enjoys racing games can afford or has space to have a whole steering wheel. The good news is it will work on both. It will work really well. It's great to drive on a controller. The only thing I've really come across on the controller is if the car steps out of line. You will notice with the way that I'm driving, I'm not going to be driving it that sideways. If it steps out of line on a controller, it is a little bit seemingly more difficult to catch. You will get these very slow, very lazy spins that I find quite difficult to catch, which is possibly and quite probably more down to my driving than anything else. I'm not going to claim I'm an expert at this. I am most definitely not. But yeah, that is the only thing I've really, really noticed. In general, though, yeah, good news for everyone really is that it works incredibly well on both, and I'm incredibly pleased to report that one. In terms of realism, look, I don't know. I've never driven a rally car. I don't know what is realistic and what isn't. What I can tell you about the driving physics, and the most important thing about them, is they're bloody fun. There are not a huge amount of stages to work with on this game. Oh, that's a big dip! Ow! Ugh. I hate that. I do know this part of the stage at least quite well. I keep forgetting about the dip there that's going to ruin your day. But yeah, there isn't a crazy amount of stages to be getting on with, so you are going to be sort of seeing repeats and whatnot. The good news is you're going to have fun driving the cars. It is a fantastic hand and model. Yeah, okay, I say it feels relatively realistic, and I would trust Assetto Corsa to know what they're doing, The previous Assetto Corsa games are fantastic, and yeah, it is very, very good fun. Very good fun. Like, this route feels suitably bumpy. It feels suitably challenging. I will say, when I loaded up this game and started playing it initially, one of the things that caught me out, but you're going to be going slower than you perhaps expect, and this may more be a syndrome of I've played a lot more of Dirt Rally and the EA WRC games. But don't do it. In general, while the cars are quite fast, the grip level might not be quite what I've experienced in previous games. So it took me a good couple of hours of overdriving like crazy. Admittedly, I was also on a wheel when I first played this game, and I wasn't there. But yeah, you are probably going to be going a little bit slower than you might initially have expected. Not a bad thing, though, whatsoever. It is a challenge to get the cars around these stages. I mean, this is probably not the toughest. The two places that we've got here, France and Wales, are probably not the toughest of rallies that are going to feature in the game. I'm going to be stuck there. God damn it, I just ran a tiny bit wide. Geez, that's a huge penalty for the reset. I don't think 34 seconds. If you crash into the crowd, you get less penalty, regardless. I guess you have to try and drag it out of a ditch, but I digress. Yeah, handling physics, look, they're great. You will not be disappointed by them in the slightest. Whatever controller scheme, whatever setup you might have, you will have fun trying to get these cars around the stages. Bloody hell, okay, we clonked our way down there. So, yeah, a lot of fun. Now, as I said, not crazy about stages. Stages that are here are very good fun. They're interesting challenges. Bloody hell. They are... I'm not going to say they're narrow. I feel like I've driven on rally games with slightly narrower stages. They feel like a good kind of... I say middle ground. They're probably more realistic than... They're not crazy ultra confined like I have seen, although potentially some rallies will be, depending on... I don't follow much WRC stuff these days, so I don't know what the modern rally stages are like. Sometimes rally games fall into the trap of having the stages be just too wide. Sometimes... Which one was it? Before EA took it, the WRC games had some incredibly narrow stages, which were fun, but may have been a bit... I don't know. It's with very limited selection that we've got here, it's difficult to comment too much, but the stages are fun to drive on. They're a good fun challenge. They feel realistic in terms of size and scope and everything. Oh, don't get that one oversteering. They are good. They are good to go around. I do like as well, they seem to have these... don't know if it's accurate, don't know if they actually have them in WRC these days. They have like these braking boards for the really tight corners, for like the hairpins and so on. I'm going to say not every single one, but yeah, it's quite... From as much as I've played a lot of rally games, and hell, rally games are... what got me into driving games many, many years ago, the old Colin McRae games and so on. For having spent a lot of time on circuit racing games, the braking boards are nice. I do appreciate that. Whoa. We're actually not going too badly in terms of... Well, we lost a lot of time because we fell off the road, but actually going quite quickly. However, the penalty is going to completely screw us. So, yeah, driving physics, fantastic. Stages themselves are all very good. The co-driver, pace notes, absolutely spot on, as far as I have come across anyway. And it is, again, there is a limited selection of stages, but already is pretty good. I'm sure it's adjustable as well. I haven't felt the need to even go and check now I think about it, because they just work. Oh, we're going to clonk. We're going to break the car if we're not careful down there. God, it's busy. I don't know, like the Welsh Rally I feel like it's quite a... It's not like a crazy fast one like the Finnish Rally or crazy technical like some. This is like a good middle ground, and this stage here shows that, you know, we've got some faster sections which I'm not quite being brave enough on. There are some slower sections. It encompasses everything you're going to be asking these cars to deal with. Oh God, it does. There are some bumps though, you really do feel it through the car. I'm sorry, Citroen. We are across the line. I actually think that was a good... one mistake got the better of me in that. So much time. 7:23. What was that time in comparison? Oh, we would have been second. And that was including falling off the 7:20. I reckon we would have been right at the front, battling away on that one. Damn it. Now, this is all about medium difficulty. You can whack the AI up considerably more if you want. Also fun, and I appreciate the options. One of the options is you can set it to the spread of the times between the AI cars, so you can have it closer or further apart. You've got to choose how many AI cars you have for the championship. Seeing it is just a time trial and so on, which is very, very interesting to see and good to have. I like options. I mean, I praise the NASCAR game as well for having the field spread. Okay, let's talk about damage. Oh, didn't realise I'd done quite so much. Yeah, so I am playing this with the, you know, let's say on the hardcore mode with a more realistic damage. I've also got like you don't have to do this little start sequence, you can just have it start on the line, but you know, for a bit of fun, we will pull up to the grid. I feel like the Marshal should maybe move a little bit quicker, but never mind. We will launch. Yeah, damage to the vehicles. Now this is something that is very important to a rally game, and I would argue that vehicle damage and so on is a lot more important in a rally game than it is in a circuit racing game. While it is still important in both, I would argue. When it comes to... Oh, that's a bit clonky. When it comes to a rally game, at the end of the day, whether you're playing single player or whether you're playing multiplayer, in fact, for that matter, most of what you are going to be doing is just you and the car. It is a time trial. At the end of the day, it's who can get through this route fastest. You're not going to be racing other cars directly, and I think the damage aspect of it is important, because not only are you not directly having other cars to race with, but also you're on pretty ridiculous terrain. Oh no, I've gone in too fast through there. Please don't be a rock or a tree stump or something. I don't know what. We are caught on something horrible there. Well, that's hurt it quite a lot. I think we have got issues. There is smoke pouring out of it. So yeah, damage is an important thing, and this game does do it, as you can see, does do it quite well. Now you can turn it off and all of that kind of thing. Somehow only a second down, which is a miracle. However, that is something that I want to see, and I think something I've always been a champion of, and I think is important, is to have wear and tear play a much bigger part. Okay, this stage I've had a crash on my own. There was my mistake. I ran in too hot through a corner and we have damaged the car. However, I don't want to be able to run through stages and have my car always finish in pristine condition, because even if you don't have an accident on a rally stage, it's going to take its toll on a car. Okay, maybe on some of the tarmac stages it'll be less, but you know, on bumpy gravel roads, hitting potholes and whatnot, it's going to take its toll on the vehicle, and I want to see a rally game reflect that. It's a difficult balancing act. How do you make it challenging without being quite too ridiculous, for sure. And I'm hoping this game goes on the side of a little bit more challenging. I want to be able to get punches, not just because I've absolutely smashed my car into a rock, but, you know, driving along, maybe it's done as like a random percentage chance you can get punches. Oh, something like that. That is not a dip you can drive through. Damn, bloody hell. That's frustrating. But you can see along this road here, you see all these little stones and rocks and whatnot. There'd definitely be a chance of getting punches. And I want to see the game go for that one. My car just not feel great anymore, not gonna lie. But like, I want to see it, lead a little bit more into that, into the. It's not quite a survival, of course. I mean, it's not like the Dakar Rally, for example, that really is a survival thing with your car. But I want to see a rally game lean a little bit more into that side of things. Now, from what I can tell of this one, it does. As you saw there when I was in the settings menu, there was a setting for sort of mechanical faults, not just crash-related stuff. Okay, and that is interesting. And I want to see, I'm hoping to see more of that as it goes on. Because, yeah, sure, if you smash your car into a tree, it's going to get damaged. But in a rally, a lot more is going on. And again, it's about, for me, personally, it's about adding that little bit more depth to it. So it's not just here is a time trial. There's more for you to think of, more for you to deal with, so to speak. That being said, my off there has been not good for the poor Citroen. And, well, as we're going to head to the repair halt here, this is going to actually need quite a lot of work. Rear light's critically damaged. Well, that's because the boot fell off. Don't care. Unimportant. Things that are important are probably going to be all of this. Now, one thing I do like that it does, and I think is quite good. So again, we're talking about damage here. One of the things I never really liked about some games in the past that have dealt with fixing of damage is, let's say you're at a repair halt. Okay, the car pulls in the state, that one pulled in. To fix the radiator, some games would give you, like, here is an exact time. And in reality, that's not how it works. You can know something is broken and it can take a lot longer or shorter to fix than you know. So I actually kind of like that this doesn't have here is a exact amount of time to do it in. So you've got to, you're not going to be able to have everything planned out perfectly. Things are not quite going to go the way you expect. A lot of that is fine. Now, I'm having to do this stuff quickly because I have too many bits that need fixing. Don't care about lights. They are unimportant currently. Oh, God. That one needs a lot of time. All of the geometry is a real pain to fix. That's possibly the most important bit. I don't know, maybe the suspension is... It's all important, goddammit. But yeah, you can see. So this stuff, like the geometry and suspension, do seem to wear on their own. I've done plenty of stages. I've never managed to get the car through 2 stages without some sort of damage on the vehicle. Even not hitting anything, just going over the bumps. That's good. That's what I want to see. That's going to be too much. That's also going to be too much. Okay, probably front geometry is more important than rear. It's fine. It's fine, honestly. Yeah, that will do. Okay, so it was the engine that was smoking, or maybe the radiator. There was smoke pouring from there. There was a fair bit of smoke. I'm just going to apply that. So, yeah, there is a good challenge, if you will, from keeping the car maintained. I mean, you can see this one here has been through the wars a fair bit. Let's go to the next. I think this is the final stage, actually, with the way this one is set up. So, yeah, the game does do pretty much everything right so far. Now, there are things that I would like to see it do that it doesn't currently do. Or maybe doesn't. There's things I'd like to see it do, but this is still early access. A lot of stuff is going to change, so I can kind of talk about what I wish to see and everything. And
5, 4, 3, 2,
yeah,
1.
I can't speak too much. The other big thing, I guess, with it being an Assetto Corsa game, if you like, is, well, modding. Let's face it, I've played a fair bit of Assetto Corsa, and the majority of my time on it has been with mods in one way or another. It's not to say the base game is not fun. It is. It's great. Do not get me wrong on that. But a lot of the appeal, and probably if you're watching this, the chances are, if you've spent a fair bit of time on Assetto Corsa, it has been with mods. I'm not really... I don't know if competition only has that many mods. That's more about the more serious racing and so on. But funnily enough, I've not spent as much time, anywhere near as much time on that game as I did on Assetto Corsa Original, if you will. And the hope from me would be that not only is this a great rally game, but it is also a good platform for modding. Now that is something that I cannot comment on as of yet. I mean, I guess the hope and the way I've sort of seen it talked about online is that it would take over almost from Richard Burns as the, I'm going to say, default rally game, and that's not quite right. But Richard Burns Rally has been around for a long time, and while I did get it working on an old PC, I've then swapped computers and never got around to getting it working on this one yet. But it has been the go-to sort of rally simulator, and being kept going and kept alive by a very active modding community. And the hope is, I would say at least, is that this would perhaps be the modern game that sort of the torch is passed to, so to speak. I'm sure Richard Burns Rally will continue with its fans and so on, but yeah, the hope would be that this might be the new basis, if you like, and with a lot of modding, that would be fantastic, because this is a fantastic platform to be building on. We got into a fiddly section. Yeah, I don't know whether that's damning. As I said, you will see I am just not driving the car sideways. Admittedly, even on rally games, I tend not to drive like that too much anyway. I prefer a much smoother style. But yeah, I digress. There is a lot of hope for, from me at least, in regards to one. But that is, again, something I cannot speak of currently, because of course that's not quite happening. But the hope would be to have that, and I guess I'm looking at this from I think I've figured out why it struggled a little bit with catching the car. What it does with the steering is trying to smooth out controller inputs, which you'd have to do to make it drivable for most people, does mean that when you go sideways you can't quite catch it as easily because it's smoothing out the input slightly. But I digressed again from where I was going. It's not been a particularly great final stage. It's not been the best rally from me. It's been scruffy in places, and a couple of mistakes have been costly. Yeah, the hope would be, of course, that modding will keep going. We'll expand the game massively beyond just what it is. But again, that is all essentially future hope. Although a lot of what I'm talking about for this game is really geared towards the future, because as I said, this is early access. It is pretty early access as well. There is not a huge amount of content, and I'd say that's slightly what the problem is with this, and part of the reason why did I not stop in the box? I got very sideways, but I didn't want to crash into the marshal because you get penalty for that, so I kind of just chucked it to slow it down. Could have been way better now. Only 8 seconds down. That was a terrible run. Should have probably won that stage, to be honest. We came 15th, considering we had 34-second penalty alone would have put us in 11th, and yeah, it was scruffy. It was scruffy by me. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, ultimately, as I said, it's early access. This is, I was going to say, almost like an extended demo, really. What is here is a lot of fun. What is here is a lot of fun to try driving the cars around, and how much you are going to play the game in its current state probably depends on just how engrossed you are in rally. Now, I enjoy a good rally game, I do, but having done this video, I'm probably going to come back to this game in a couple of months' time, or depending on whenever updates are coming out, etc. Probably not going to play it a huge amount because I've driven all the stages, I've driven most of the cars, and yeah, there isn't the, I say, quite the content to keep me going at the moment on this one. What is here is a very, very good baseline. What is here is a fantastic platform to build upon, and I very much look forward to seeing where this game goes next. What is going to be added to it, because yeah, as a platform to build upon, It is very, very cool. It is very good fun. And yeah, a lot of potential, I think, for the for the future. It's a good start. It is a good start. But I kind of have done everything there is to for now. That though is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, hey, goodbye.